Hello guys, welcome to our NTech review. And today we're taking a look at this IP camera right here. This is from the company Bosma. It's the IP camera that I found very useful and reliable. Has all the features that we're looking for in a security camera. And it allows it to move all the way around since it is the IP camera. That way you have more coverage of what you want to see. This is how it looks. You have a window right here. It's actually a transparent window. It doesn't actually look like that when you have it, but you have LEDs behind here. This is your indicator for your network connections. So you have Wi-Fi and your Ethernet. So the light's going to be blinking no matter what as it's powered on. That way you can tell if it's connected to the Wi-Fi or connected to the Ethernet or both. Right here we have our lens. It's quite a long lens, so you can actually see the wide angle. It doesn't have any fisheye effects on here. That way you have nice looking pictures. It's not skewed. Here we have our infrared LED. It's a single one and it allows it to actually see at night. Even outdoors, it does cover quite a large area. And here's a light sensor for detecting if it's night or day. It actually has on the side right here a microphone as well. It's kind of hard to see, but it's a pinhole. And on this side it's a speaker. That way you can talk to the phone app. And you actually can hold a conversation decently on here as well. In the back we have our ports. This is our power in. This is our micro USB. It's not a mini USB, but a micro. Just keep in mind if you want to buy one that you will need to find one that's a 5 volt. But I did find that generic lines do actually work. That way if you want a longer line, you can get one off of Amazon or eBay. Here's our function / reset. This is just a button that you use for setting it up and also resetting the device. So you just hold it down until it tells you when it factory resets, or hold it down for slightly less time to actually set up the Wi-Fi on here. And this is our micro SD card slot. This is where you put your micro SD cards into here. It does stick out slightly, that way it makes it a lot more easy to take out if you need to. But you will need to buy one for actually recording with this. Without it, there's no built-in memory, so it won't be able to save in here. The card does stick out slightly, so that means that you're able to easily push it out. So that's quite nice. If you ever do need to retrieve this after using it, you can. And here's your Ethernet port. Uses the standard Ethernet. This is the cable it comes with. It's a flat style. I found this very useful since it is very compact compared to the round circular one. It also feels stronger. So you just plug it into here and put it into your router. That way you will be able to connect this. But you don't need to actually do that to connect it. There's two ways. You can either do the Ethernet connection or you can use sound. Sound is just going to use the microphone on the side. And now to the movement. So the camera can go all the way down to here. So it's not fully down. But it does do quite a good job, but it won't be able to see underneath it. That's one downside since there's no way it can see. But you can put it on the tripod mount and mount it upside down. It's actually made for that. If you mount it upside down, then you will be able to see down, but you won't be able to see up. But that's how much you can go up. It's actually quite straight up. And you'll also be able to see quite a lot all the way around using the feature of this. It hits the stopper right here. That stops it from moving any further than up to this angle. And it just goes all the way on the opposite side up to here. And this stops exactly the same place or anything flipped. This is so the cable inside of here for the camera and electronics don't get snagged and twisted up if you have it going 360 degrees. That's what's going to happen. So this is just to prevent the camera from breaking and will ensure that it will work for a very long time. On the very bottom, you may notice we have some tape right here. This is where your QR code and also your password is going to be. That's how you set it up. And right here we have more information about the device. Nothing too much about the camera on here, but it's very useful for having. And one thing right here is the tripod mount. So it uses a standard tripod mount. You can place it on any different stand, but this is the stand it comes with. You just screw it on, it's just like this. and you just twist this knob to tighten to the camera, or you can loosen and move it around and then tighten it up again. To set up the camera, we want to first grab the camera, plug it in, and just get your plug, put it into any outlet near your router. So this is going to be the Ethernet version. I'm just going to just use the Ethernet cable from my router to connect it. Now we just want to plug in the Ethernet, and we should just leave it like this and just wait for this to start up. It's going to do a routine checkup. Each time it turns on, it will move around. Now you want to grab your phone and download the app from Bosma. You can find it on iOS and Android Store Market. And this is how it looks. It's going to ask you first to make an account with them. After doing that, you can just go to the very top, press the plus, and it should enter into the screen right here. It's going to ask you what device you have. Right now we're using the PTZ camera, and let's tap that. And now, as you can see, it has a QR code scanner and also a manual input. This is if you want to manually input it by typing in the numbers on the very bottom, or you could just scan the QR code using this. So let's scan the QR code. You want to now type in the password for the device. The default password is going to be admin, so let's just type in admin. And once you do that, you can now just type in a new password for your device. It's going to ask you on this screen right here. And now just type in the password that you want for this device. There seems to be a bug with the application right now from one of the updates. But if you get this loading screen right here, it's going to be circling forever. You want to now back out of there and go all the way to the front screen. And once you do that, you want to just refresh the page, and it should just pop up right down there. Once it pops up, now we can see a prompt right here. It's going to ask us if you want to update. Right now we don't want to, but if you do, just press yes, and it should just auto reboot. And once it reboots, you will just come back to the screen right here. But this is a live view of the camera. But as you can see, 1080p is quite nice. Right now it's at auto. Now let's go to 1080p. There we go. That's how it looks. If you bring up the piece of paper that they give, you can see the text actually. It's quite nice and clear. And quite responsive. It's not too bad on the lag. The image quality is nice, has a nice wide angle lens, and if you look outside, you can see that it handles light quite nicely. This is the interface that you're going to have. You're going to have your video or photo. These two are what you use for recording. This is manual recording, so just keep in mind that you will have it stored onto your phone, not onto the device. Hello?
Hello?
As you can see, the sound is quite nice and clear and also quite loud. You can adjust the volume on this side using the settings as well. So if you don't like it that loud, you can make it softer. If you press it again, it will just turn that box off. And this is the speaker. This is what you can hear from the microphone on here. So if you want to hear the sound, you just press that. On this right here, we have our different versions for the video stream. This is just for the video stream. It's not going to determine the recordings. This is just the resolutions. So this is 1080p as the max, standard, smooth, and auto. Auto is going to just fluctuate based upon your data. So if you're on the data, I would recommend going on smooth. That way you don't use up all your data off this video. If you want to look how the smooth looks, this is how it looks. Not bad, it's still quite good, but not as good as the 1080p version. On the bottom right here, we have our video settings. This is for adjusting the coloring and also the saturation. You just use those as what you use for adjusting it. But you can also change it from manual day or night. That way the infrared will either turn on or off manually. We can close that. And on the very top we have our calendar. Calendar is going to be our recordings on our device. So any recordings that it makes, you will be able to see on here. So if we tap that, this is how it looks. Right now we don't have any footage, so we will have to just start recording with this, and it will just show up in little blocks. You can either sort between pictures or videos, and you have a calendar on this side right here. This is how you see which day you recorded. So if you want to see on the 13th, you just press that. It will show you all the recordings from the 13th. And here's our settings on this side. You just tap that. And now you can go over here, adjust the nickname of the device. That way you know if it's the living room or the porch. And you can go to the system to update it. And this one right here, you can adjust the speaker sound, the volume, or you can use the flip. Flip is just going to flip it all the way around. So that's if you install this upside down using the bracket, you will see it right way up. And you can now adjust the power frequency. So depending on where you live, you can use the 60 Hertz or the 50 Hertz. So you just press apply. And now you just go to here. And what you want to do first is you want to go to your motion and notifications. And you want to press this blue button. That's going to turn alert on. Once you do that, it's going to now record anything that goes in front of it. And that's how you get your recordings to get started. And since the setup process didn't fully go through, you want to go to network and you want to set up your password and your Wi-Fi. That way it will be able to connect using just this antenna inside of here and not the Ethernet cable. And you also want to go to your device information and reset the password. Change it to something that you want.